Hi everyone. Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 8 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudent.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 8 math and then click on view all lessons. There you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter proportional relationships. The lessons we're going to cover today are identify proportional relationships, find the constant of proportionality word problems, solve problems involving proportional relationships. So please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. Here I'm on grade 8 math. Let's just start with the lesson that is identify proportional relationships. Select the graph that shows the proportional relationship between x and y. So to determine whether a graph shows a proportional relationship between x and y, see if it is a straight line passing through the origin. So this graph is a straight line passing through the origin. So this graph represents the proportional relationship between x and y. Let's just start with the test questions. That means the graph of the proportional relationship is a straight line passing through the origin. Select the graph that shows the proportional relationship between x and y. So you are given two of the graphs. So which is the correct option? Option number one is the correct option. That's a straight line passing through the origin. So that is the that graph shows the proportional relationship between x and y. Select the graph that shows a proportional relationship between x and y. So which is the correct option? Option number one is the correct option. That's a graph. The graph shows the Let's just start with the test questions. Select the graph that shows a proportional relationship between x and y. Option number one is the correct option. That is a straight line passing through the origin. Option number one is the correct option. Select a graph that shows a proportional relationship between x and y. Option number one is the correct option. That's a straight line passing through the origin. Option number one is the correct option. Select the graph that shows a proportional relationship between x and y. Option number two is the correct option. That is a straight line passing through the origin. So option two is the correct option. Select the graph that shows a relationship between x and y. Option number one is the correct option, that is a straight line and passing through the origin. Okay, we are done with the lesson. The next lesson is find the constant of proportionality word problems. John bought 8 souvenirs during 2 days of vacation. Then on another trip, he bought 12 souvenirs during 3 days of vacation. How many souvenirs does John buy during 1 day of vacation? So, 8 souvenirs during 2 days. So, the x is the days and y is the number of souvenirs, right? So, you have to do y over x to see the constant of proportionality. So, that is 8 over 2 is 4 and 12 over 3 is 4. Let's just start with the test questions. Janelle grew 9 plants with 3 seed packets. Then later in the season, she grew 15 plants using 5 seed packets. How many plants can Janelle grow with 1 seed packet? So you have to calculate the constant of proportionality, that is y by x. So x is the seed packets and y is the plants. So through from 3 seed packets he can grow 9 plants, and from 5 seed packets he can grow 15 plants. You have to calculate y by x, that is 9 by 3 and 15 by 5. 3 times 3 is 9 and 5 times 3 is 15. So that means the option number 1 is the correct option, that is 3. Harold's Auto Wash had revenues of $12 from 2 customers. At another point, the auto wash earned $18 in revenue from 3 customers. How much revenue does Harold's Auto Wash have per customer? So you have to do constant of proportionality, you need to calculate. So you have X is the customers, sorry, X is the customers, you have 2 customers and the revenue is $12. Then you have 3 customers and $18. You have to calculate y by 8. 12 by 2 is 6 and 18 by 3 is 6. So the correct option is option number 1, that is 6. Harry took a total of 12 quizzes over the course of 6 weeks. After a school vacation, he took 14 quizzes over the span of 7 weeks. How many quizzes does Harry take per week? You need to calculate how many courses quizzes he did per week. So you have to calculate the constant of proportionality, constant that is y over x. So let's just make a table, see which is x and which is y. So 6 weeks, 12 quizzes, and 7 weeks and 14 quizzes. You have to calculate y over x. 6 times 2 is 12, 7 times 2 is 24, 7 times 2 is 14. So that means Harry take one quiz, two quizzes per week. Option number 1 is the correct option, that is two quizzes. Anita took a total of 8 pages of notes during 2 hours of class. Then later in the year, she took 16 pages of notes during 4 hours of class. How many pages of notes does Anita take during an hour of class? X is the time and Y is the number of pages. You need to calculate the Y by X. That means Anita can taking she take 4 pages of notes when taking 1 hour class. The correct option is 4. Sydney spent 3 minutes on the phone while routing 3 phone calls. Later in the day, she spent 15 minutes of the phone routing 15-minute phone calls. How many minutes does it take to route one phone call? Option number 1 is the correct option. That is 1. Andrew ran a total of 10 miles over the course of 2 track practices. Then later in the season, he ran 15 miles over the course of 3 track practices. How many miles does Andrew run per track practice? Very good. That is 2. Option number 5. Option number 1 is the correct option. Stanley prepared 12 kilograms of dough after working 4 hours. Then he prepared an additional 15 kilograms of dough after working another 5 hours. How many kilograms of dough uh, does Stanley prepare every hour? Option number one is the correct option, that is 3 kilograms. Jessica's graduation picnic will cost $12 if it has 3 attendees. Alternatively, if the picnic has 4 attendees, it will cost $16. Option number one is the correct option. That is cost per attendee is $4. Option one is the correct option. Can I learn to sing a total of 5 pieces over the course of 5 weeks of voice lessons? After a short break, he learned 11 new pieces over the 11 week. How many vocal pieces does can you learn? Emergency. Learn per week. So which is the correct option? Option number one is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. Solve problems involving proportional relationships. Let's just start with the test questions. You can have a look on the tutorial by yourself later today. You have to. The equation shows how the total number of books Jack has read depends on the number of months he has been part of a book club. So that is B equals 7. M represents the number of months he has been a member of book club, and M represents the number of books. B equals 7M. You need to calculate when you have 1 month. So replace M with 1. 7 times 1 is 7. So that means Jack will Jack have read 7 books. Option number one is the correct option. This equation shows how the amount of time that a receptionist named William spends on the Phone is related to the number of phone calls he routes to employee, that is T equals 5P. The variable P represents the number of phone calls he routes and the variable T respond to number of minutes he is on the phone. So T equals 5P you are given. P equals 1. 5 times 1 is 5. Option number 2 is the correct option. This equation shows how the number of flowers Anita can have in her garden is related to the number of seed packets she purchases. That is 9 packets. Option number 2 is the correct option. That is 9 packets. This equation shows how the total number of necklaces Wendy owns is related to the amount of money she spends on additional necklaces. N equals D. That is N equals D. So that is 10. Option number 1 is the correct option. So the correct option is then option number 3 is the correct option. This equation shows how Rand's earrings are related to the number of amount of time he spends working at the drugstore. M equals 12 times each. After spending 1 hour working at the drugstore, how much money will Rand earn? So which is the correct option? After spending 1 hour working at the drugstore, how much money will Rand earn? 12 times 1 is 12. Option number 1 is the correct option. Option number 3 is the correct option. That is 20 attendees. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we were working on grade 8 math. The chapter we were working on is proportional relationships. The lessons we have covered today are identify proportional relationships, find the constant of proportionality word problems, solve problems involving proportional relationships. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we just did. That is your homework until next session. So if you need more help with any of the lesson, you can simply click on the live chat button. Tutors are available there to help you. Or either you can write down the questions in the chat box. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. Okay, then that's all for